25th June 2024. However, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya declined to assent to the Finance Bill 2024. The Finance Bill was meant to create additional resources amounting to 344.3 billion. The withdrawal of the said bill created a financing gap of a similar amount in order to align the financial year 2024-25 budget estimates. We have rationalized the budget estimates by 178.3 billion Kenya shillings in the following manner. Recurrent budget rationalization. In the recurrent budget, we are proposing to rationalize expenditure amounting to 40.3 billion Kenya shillings. This amount is inclusive of 2.7 billion rationalization under Parliament, $500 million under the judiciary. The rationalization targeted non-priority areas in the recurrent budget, as well as rationalization of salary adjustments for civil servants and teachers. B, rationalization of personnel emoluments. Mr. Chairman, we propose to rationalize allocations for Phase 2, salary adjustments for teachers and civil servants amounting to 15 billion Kenya shillings. This comprises Kenya shillings 10 billion for salary adjustment for teachers and 5 billion for civil servants. And B, rationalization of offices of First Lady and spouse to the Deputy President and advisors under the Presidency. Mr. Chairman, as directed, we have rationalized 1.525 billion from the offices of the First Lady and the spouse to the Deputy President, after exempting allocations for salaries to employees and advisors under the Presidency. The current items are indicated in detail in Table 5. That gives you the percentage of cuts and all the areas that have been affected. Table 5 on page 17. On the development budget rationalization, Mr. Chairman, we propose to rationalize the development budget with the exemption of GOK counterpart funding, as well as critical ongoing projects. We rationalized projects by 138.5 billion from Government of Kenya funded projects. This includes 8.3 billion from the NG-CDF and Kenya shillings 1 billion from Parliament and Kenya shillings 800 million from the judiciary. And some of the affected areas I'll come to shortly, I will highlight. But I just want to point out that when we say exemption to GOK counterpart funding, honorable members, I know you're familiar with it, but the general public may not be familiar with the whole idea of why, what we mean by counterpart funding here. This is where there's supposed to be a Government of Kenya contribution, and then the rest of the money comes from the donor that is funding that particular project. Now, some of the major areas affected by rationalization of the development budget include the following. And I had highlighted some earlier, but let me repeat. 14.1 billion for roads projects, 14.6 billion for electrification, that is the last mile and public facilities, 6.5 billion for water and sanitation, 6.5 for police modernization, 3.3 billion for settlement of the landless, 3.1 billion for construction and equipping TVET institutes, 5.2 billion school infrastructure, 3.3 university infrastructure, and 2 billion the University Hustlers Fund. Mr. Chairman, you had question 5, and you wanted a detailed list of the public participation projects affected by the budget rationalization. Mr. Chairman, the National Assembly approved Kenya shillings 2.3 billion for public participation projects under various ministries, departments, and agencies in the financial year 2024-25 budget estimates. Out of this amount, 1.5 billion has been rationalized, and the details are again in your folder as captured in Annex 2. You have question 6. You required a detailed list of the financial year 2023-2024 carryovers by each ministry, department, and agencies. Mr. Chairman, we closed the financial year 2023-2024 with carryovers amounting to 218.5 billion, and these are indicated on table 6 in your folder at page 19. Now, Mr. Chairman, I think there are some indications of the highlights with that Kenya has with the International Monetary Fund program. I'll try and go through them very briefly, and then if there are details, again, the team is here to respond. But, Mr. Chairman, I think I may want to flag one thing, that when we talk about the IMF, I think it's important for the Kenyan out there to know that we are members of this institution. We are also members of the World Bank, because we tend to talk to them or talk of them as if they are aliens. But it is important for the Kenyan people to know that, in simple language, we are subscribers or shareholders within these institutions. I think that's the simple language I would want to communicate to the Kenyan public, because we tend to talk of it as if we are not part of them and so forth, but it's important that this comes through. Now, the highlights are as follows. Mr. Chairman, we have just concluded the 7th review of our program with the IMF.